Okay, so I recorded a bunch of stuff and found out that my voice wasn't working, so I'm going to try and start this over and explain what I did because it was fairly simple. You want to create a new project. I chose third person game just because that seems to be the easiest thing to get in and start messing around with. Once you do that, then you're going to open up one of the projects from the Synty store, the stuff that we just bought. For me, it's the Polygon Sci-Fi, and you're going to open the .u project file, which then opens up the whole project with all the assets and everything. Um, in the content browser, you want to go down to this view options thing and turn off show folders and then click on content, and that will show you every asset of every type in one space. And then you're just going to select it all, Control A, and right click. It's going to take a little bit to sort of load up all the information about everything. And then you go to Asset Actions and Migrate. So this is going to give you every possible file that you have. It's every file that you have selected, but it's also all of the files that are linked to that. So if you, for instance, clicked on a blueprint that you had that had a handful of assets like meshes in it that then were calling other things and were used in a map, it would grab all of those at the same time. But just to be sure that you're getting everything that you want, it's easier just to go grab all the stuff. This migrate is also a great way for if you, like my zombie project, I've dumped a ton of Synty stuff in there. So if you want to sort of get everything that is needed for like one map, you could grab the map itself and say migrate, and it would grab everything that that map should need. And it tends to be pretty solid, so it seems like it works pretty well. So you hit OK, and then you're going to go find the project that you created. Crap, I don't know if I put mine in the right place. I think I called it. Yeah, good. Synty test. So this is the root folder of the project that I created, and then you're going to select the content folder and hit select folder, and then that's just going to dump all those files. So 842. It says some could not be copied, um, and you can look at that message. It never gives. It says that quite often, but I don't know if it's this thing that doesn't have something. I don't know what's going on with that, but it seems like that usually works. So close this, and then we're going to launch. I don't think that test was going to show up in here. Well, maybe. Yeah, it did. I could have done that. But I'll just find it in here. Synty test, open project. So once this opens up, it's going to be, it should open up to the same map as usual. And then in the content browser, it's going to have all of the stuff that we just pushed over here in Polygon Sci-Fi, and then it's broken down in the same way. So we should be able to open up the same demonstration map that was in there, and boom, there you go. How sweet is that? So what you're going to do to get your third person character. So I think an easy thing to do here is to, let's see, does this map have, I'm on a second screen so you probably can't see this, but I'm searching for player start. It does not have one. Okay, that's actually good news. It means I should be able to right click and place actor and player start. And then in your world settings, which you choose from up here somewhere, edit, is it edit or window? Sorry, I don't remember where that's stored. World settings. That's going to pop out. I'll have to move it over here so you can see it. In here, that's going to give you, there's this override. So game mode, we don't have one. So real quick, we're just going to create one. So back here, just to make this simple, I'm going to put it in this blueprints folder. Right click, blueprint class, and you should be able, I think it's here, yeah, game mode base, and we're going to just call it Synty test GM. Okay, so now if you double click this and open it, it's going to give you a full blueprint. All you really care about here is we're going to set the player is it player controller? No, default pawn. And we're going to choose the third person character, which is the one that is created in the demo game. So I should be able to hit play, and yeah, here's my dude. Now he's in here running around just like a normal dude. So from there, we're going to take this guy, third person character, is using these. Now, I don't know why they put that in meshes. That's weird. It's in mannequin animations. It's using this animation blueprint. And if we open the blueprint, so anything that's connected to animation and character stuff, up in the upper right, you get all these things. It's sort of the hierarchy of all the pieces. So the skeleton this is where all your bones and stuff, you can rotate and move all this stuff. So we're going to use something called the retarget manager. All you're going to do is you're going to select in the mid bicep, the upper arm, and you're going to rotate this. You want to be snapped up here. You want to make sure that this is orange and 10 degrees is good. This guy comes up 50 degrees. This guy is going to go back 30 degrees. I learned this off of a YouTube tutorial. I don't know why these numbers, but it seems to work fairly well. You could mess around with this if you want to try it, but you need to be in a T pose. So once you set that, just those 4 spots, you're going to hit modify pose, excuse me, and you're going to hit use current pose, and then save. I don't believe this actually causes any real issues with your character like this, but what it does do is it gives you, when you go into the Polygon Sci-Fi, meshes, and where are we at here? Meshes, characters. This gives you all these dudes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, where's my mannequin? Where'd he go? Mannequin character and mesh. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to call it Polygon Rig. So now that's the new skeleton that I'm going to use. So what I want to do is go back to these characters, and I'm going to right click on this guy, and I'm going to say skeleton, and I'm going to say assign skeleton. I'm going to pick Polygon Rig. It will tell you sometimes, depends on the project, sometimes they added some extra bones that aren't in that same one. You should be able to just say accept, and it's going to tell you you're going to be adding these bones. Hit OK. Should be fine. So now you've got this guy, and this guy, this is an alien. I've never done this one, so maybe he's just set up weird because he's got antenna and stuff. But now you have a skeleton on him. So what we should be able to do is go into the mannequin again and look at these animations, and we're going to take these animations. So the ones with the green little green underneath, those are actual animation files. The blueprint and like blend spaces and things like that have the orange ones, and there's a couple other colors. But you should be able to right click on this guy and say retarget anim's assets, and then duplicate anim assets and retarget. So what that's going to do is it's going to ask you for who do you want to retarget to. You want to uncheck this show only compatible skeletons, choose the Polygon Rig, and it should be showing up over here. I think that means that I've actually got something, I missed a step. Let's go back here, look at my, oh, I think I know what it is. When I'm in here, I have to choose a preview asset, I think, on the skeleton. So apply to asset, save. I think now I should be able to go back and do this again. So retarget, duplicate, compatible, polygon, there you go. So now you can see they're both in T-pose, so that should match them up fairly well. Scale is off, so you do get, I think it does end up looking a little bit funky. I mean, this is certainly not going to be something you're going to ship, but it gives you something to play with. So in here, then I'm going to choose to, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to try and put it somewhere. So I'm going to, I think, yeah, you can right click, new folder, and I'll go Polygon. I can't type. Okay, so that's the folder I'm going to choose. Hit OK. So you do that down here by hitting change. You can, if you want to change your naming scheme and all that stuff, you can do that here. I don't know what any of the rest of this does. I don't think I've ever really messed with it. It's really this one. Uncheck it so you get the full list. Hit retarget. It should have moved all of those into here. And now there's my little dude. He's playing the different animations on that skeleton. So you'll notice something looks a little funky. His arms are always out. And that could be because of the way that we set up that rig originally. I'm not sure if he was, maybe he didn't need to be. Go down 30. Oops. Or no, it's 50, sorry. I think this needs to go down one more, two more. There, okay, that looks even. So save that, and then look at these. I'm not 100% sure why that happened. Yeah, I'm not really sure what actually happened there. Let me double check that this guy is still, he's in an A pose. This rig is now in an A pose as well. I'm not 100% sure what happens here. Might have to play around with that a little bit. I think, I don't know if we can re-export those animations. Let me try that real quick. Retarget, duplicate, uncheck, polygon. Okay, so that's still showing this guy in a T pose, so I'm not sure why that is, but I'm just going to try and do this. I think it should replace, or it may have just made doubles. Yeah, it did make doubles, and it didn't seem to make a difference there. I'm not 100% sure why that is. What we might be able to do is go to the skeleton again, do the retarget. Oh, you know what? There was something here. Select humanoid rig. I'm going to actually set him back to the T pose. Okay. Modify, use current, save. It might have been this that caused the problem. So I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to delete all of these. I don't know if you've messed with deleting. One of the things you have to keep in mind, if anytime it shows anything in the asset referencers column, you don't want to delete. You don't want to force delete. If it's in a if it's in memory reference, it's fine. But if you force delete something that is in the asset referencer, it'll break those reference links and it can cause all sorts of problems. I don't think, I mean, I guess it's possible it could completely bork your project, but more than anything, it's just a pain in the ass. You might see like, materials are broken because they're not pointing to the right textures or something like that. And then the other thing you want to do when you delete stuff like that, in this case, I don't think it matters, but I always just, for safety's sake, if you right click on content, I just do it at the root just to make it easier, and click fix up redirectors in folder. What that'll do is you want to do that more often when you move a bunch of stuff, because it will make sure that stuff is shown in the proper place. I'm going to pause real quick. Okay, I just ate way too much pizza. So I think I figured it out. I was doing this backwards. So this is your UE4 skeleton with you want to come back down 50 and then up 30 on this guy, and same here. You want to make this match, so bring it down 50, and I left these straight. Maybe that should change. I'm not sure, but do the same thing. You modify, use current pose. I did make sure this was changed to humanoid. I'm not 100% positive that matters. And then you hit save. And then when you go to, let's see, these animations, I already did the third person walk. So if I do these, retarget and duplicate. Now this rig shows up correctly. I think that's because they're both using the humanoid now. When I didn't do that before, it wasn't seeing that as compatible, so you don't have to uncheck this, which is good. And so then I'm going to change to mannequin polygon anims, retarget, so it should push all those in here. And now, I don't know why they're not all showing up down there. That's weird. There's the third person run. There's the idle. I don't know what's going on down here. This is supposed to show all available animations for this rig. Maybe it's because they're not saved. Control-Shift-S will just save everything that's open. Yeah, there they go. Okay, so now you should be able to cycle through these. Third person run. There's two versions of that. I guess I did that on accident. So anyway, that gets you to this guy. So now that doesn't allow you to play that character just yet. So we're going to have to deal with the anim blueprint. So if you don't want to mess with, real quick, just make sure. So, okay, I tried putting in one of the characters. That didn't work. That's the other thing you will probably want to do. I did this person first. If you select all of them with the pink underneath, this guy is a physics asset. It's different. So all of the skeletal meshes, right-click, skeleton, assign skeleton, polygon rig, except you have to do this for each one, which is a pain in the ass. Some of the bigger packs with, with a ton of characters, this can take a little while, but it's not horrible since it's at the top. And this will set all of them. So any of them can then be used with the same animation setup. Blah, blah, blah. Click, click, click. How many are there? Okay, so now you should be able to go back to this guy. No, that's the actual animation. Here we go. And you should be able to choose any character, put him on there, and then hit apply, then go to the animation, and maybe do that from here. I don't know why I'm wasting your time with this, but what the hell. There we go. Okay, there. Now you can see how those guys work. Okay, so now if you want to make your actual character in this one here, so the mesh is what you want to change, and then you're going to switch to the third person anim blueprint, compile. Now this is not going to work immediately. You'll still be able to move around, but it's not going to animate because that animation blueprint. Let me double check. Yeah, that is definitely the right one. So what happens is when you switch to a skeleton that doesn't work, it clears out the anim class. So anim mode is animation blueprint. You can choose an asset and then just choose a specific animation for that skeleton, and then in your viewport you'll see them playing that, so you can kind of see what they'll look like with that. But when you play the game, it's just going to be stuck in that looping animation. So what you need to do, we'll go back to blueprint, compile. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to duplicate the animation blueprint up here. So you can either duplicate it. Actually, no, you have to duplicate it now that I think about it. In fact, duplicating is not going to work unless, yeah, you can do this. So you're going to right click. Actually, can we do this with two? Doesn't look like it. I think it'll work on either one. So, okay, we're going to do this one first because this one is called by this one. So right click, retarget. So we're going to be doing the same story. My polygon anims, retarget, and then back to here, this one. Oops, wrong one there, retarget. Okay, so now, does this work? Funny thing is, he's got his arms out again. I don't know why that is. Because these all look fine. What's his idle look like? Oh! Wait. No? Well. I'll be damned. So this, for some reason, didn't save properly, or I accidentally reset it. Because the skeleton is... Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. This is the polygon rig, so that's the right skeleton. So we just need to drop these down again. So 50, 50, modify, save, use current, save. That should, I think. I'm not sure if I have to do something to refresh this one. Maybe compile it. I'm not sure what he's doing. It might be that this is calling... I bet I know what this is. So, okay. So this is an animation graph. I don't know how Unity does this stuff. You guys may have played around with something similar that Steven does. But basically this is an on-tick event that's always firing, and it's looking at your player pawn, and then it's grabbing some things. So is it falling? It sets is in air. You get the velocity to get your speed, and then those two are driving some stuff in your anim graph. So this is a state machine that's going to an output pose, and the pose is actually the animation, but sometimes it's, you know, it might blend stuff together. So in here, this is your actual state machine. So idle run is running a blend space based on the speed. So when you double click this, this is a two-dimensional or one-dimensional, they call them different things, but basically this is running along this line from 0 to speed of 375. If you hold down shift and move the mouse back and forth, it'll change the speed just as a test, so you can kind of see what it looks like. So it's blending from idle to run, or to walk to run. So I think what's going on here, if you click on these, you can is it click or shift click? Okay, shift moves it. This, I don't think you can grab. You have to right click and then change the speed if you want manually. And then I think you also need to, well, no, the animations are set right. I'm not sure why his arms are sticking out like that. That's kind of annoying. But this is how you'd set up a pose. So there's another version that is a 3D version that is, it has it has an x-axis, or sorry, a y-axis, and that would let you set, for instance, forward at medium speed, forward right, forward left. Sorry, this would be high speed up here, and then this would be left to right. So you could have like leaning animations in the middle, and it would blend through all that stuff. We don't have enough animations here to do that, and for some stupid reason his arms are sticking back out on everything. I don't know what that's all about, but whatever. Good enough for now. This gives you the general ideas. If you, I'll put a note in there, or I'll cut out the early part where I screwed up, even though I'm talking about it a whole bunch, so hopefully you don't run into the screw up part. And his shit looks fine. But so basically this is all set up there in this anim graph state machine. So that sets what the what is playing. So when you're in idle, based on speed, it's going to set your animations, and it's going to blend between them based on the speed. And then the only other states they have at the moment is a jump start, which is going to play a single animation of the jump start. It's just that. And then in jump loop, it's playing a single animation, and you can see the tool tip. You can see more actually if you hold down Control and Alt at the same time. It gives you a bunch of information, but you can see what's actually in there in this preview state. So you can see that it's just playing a single animation on these, and then this is playing something else that's driving it. Now the in-betweens are the I can't remember what they call them, but they're transition states basically. So from idle, it is only possible in this particular case to go to a jump start. So it goes in this direction, and these are easy to do. You just drag off. So if you wanted to have an attack, you could drag out here, set a state, call it attack, and then you would double click in here and set your parameters or what animation it's going to play when it does that. Obviously we don't have any attacks, so I'm going to get rid of that. But then when you set these transitions, you can set, like I could say, okay, it's possible to go from jump start straight back here, and it would set up this new transition. So this is the current one that says, are you in the air? If you are, then actually, is this one? Yeah, this one is in air. This is just taking whatever this value is if it's true. So when you jump, it automatically puts you in the air. So you would play that same animation if you walked off of a ledge or something as well as jumped. I want to delete this one, but because you could, I guess you could set it so there's like a breakout where if you hit jump and then immediately hit attack, it would go into something else, or you could kick it back down to here, whatever. But this is relatively simple, and this is a very simple one to start with that gives you pretty much everything you need. I think the most complicated thing going on here is the blend space that's happening. And I've set up for some of my other characters, I've set up some slightly more complicated stuff with, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can do here. You can blend upper body animations with lower body, so you can run and still, do a punch or something. But probably the most confusing part is setting this stuff up, because you need to know where you're getting stuff from. Usually it's going to be pulled from the movement component, which is in your third-person character blueprint over here, and it's a base component of a character that sets, like excuse me, movement speed and all sorts of stuff like that. For now, obviously you don't have to worry about that. You probably find plenty of tutorials if you're trying to figure out how to do specific things. But I think this gets you enough to get in and start working. I think maybe the problem I'm running into with the arms, now that I look at it, is there's some of these that still had the arms out, not all of them. So what happens if I delete these? I bet they're being referenced. Yeah, they're being referenced by something. It looks like these things are referencing stuff. So if I would force delete, that would cause a problem. So it looks like any of the ones that don't have a 1 or 2 after them are good, except for the walk for some reason. So maybe I need to re-export or transition this one. But anyway, hopefully you don't run into that screw up, but that's why his arms are screwy here. To change that, you would just go into this, go to the anim graph, which is also over here. You just double click, and I think this breaks out the whole thing, so you can go to each individual state if you want. Otherwise, you jump in there, and then double click. Here you would want to change the animations on this by right clicking here and choosing. So third person idle, there we go. Yeah, that looks right. So this one is third person walk, which was screwed up still for some reason. I think, yeah, his arms go up, so he's gonna look like an idiot. And then this one, the run without, should look fine. So now when he runs, he's gonna put his arms out like Naruto. You can also see this stuff up here, and actually this is important. You can change the speed value, so you can set what the minimum and maximum is along that scale. You can also set the number of grid divisions here, if you, for whatever reason, if you had like 7 different things you wanted to blend between or something, you could add more of those. Okay, so I think that sets all that stuff up. So now you have this blueprint, animation blueprint set up in here, this third person anim BP with this guy. I'm just going to call this B Polygon, just so I don't confuse it. And then if you go back to your third person character, you can choose the mesh, and now you should be able to choose the anim B Polygon, compile, and if you go look at the viewport, yeah, now the character is looking correct. So in the mesh, I don't like that character, that looks weird. You can choose whatever you want, and they should all, since they're all using the same skeleton, they should work. So now when I play, now I got a dude that runs around, and when he goes, I don't think I'm set up to go fast, so he doesn't put his arms out, which is too bad because that was kind of funny. Maybe I'll do that for the jump one, so when he gets sprinting, he looks like he's Naruto. Anyway, that I think is the main thing that you're going to need to know. I might throw together some more. If you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. Anyway, good luck. Hope it works.